Welcome to day 9 of building an automation business from scratch. We are touching up on day 7 for here of just following along this process. So basically, we are setting up analytics infrastructure for data driven decision making. So, what does that mean? We are going to find that out. So, I'm going to copy this, go back over here to my workflow, and okay, so we are picking up on the 8-week sprint for Optimize. We are currently on step 7. Can you elaborate on that and provide some instructions on what exactly is needed? Okay, let's see what this does. All right, so set up analytics infrastructure, data, define objectives and KPIs. Begin by talking to stakeholders to gather requirements, identify KPIs that align with business goals. Okay. Ensure leadership buy-in by clearly communicating the value of analytics infrastructure. Okay. Centralize data sources using a warehouse such as Snowflake to provide comprehensive access to data for the entire team. So we won't necessarily need that because we're going to, one, build out a KPI GPT, and two, we have KPIs that are going to be pulling in from Go High Level. So we'll know in two different areas are like having the data or the KPIs in one area. Data transferring modeling, implement data transformation looks like DBT for cleaning, modeling, testing, and documenting data. I'm not sure what that means. Business intelligence analytics, data security and compliance, balance security and privacy. I think this workflow basically is like it's pulling from somewhere else. What was the last thing I was talking about? Yeah, I don't know where this is. This is talking about cloud stuff. So I'm not sure why that is, but so we are basically let's start with this. We're going to figure out what our objectives and KPIs are, and then we're going to create those, and then create actually, let's go over here. So let me log in real quick. That's definitely the wrong one. All right, so now we're going to go to our assistants. Where is... Oh no. There we go. So we're going to go to our knowledge base GPT. And what I really want to do is create a new audit process, but for this video, I'm gonna just stick with what we have. So can you, based on what you know about Optimize solutions, create me a list of KPIs that would be needed. Think about what good KPIs for this business, our new target market, audience of Well, hold on one sec. Let's go back here real quick. So we need to go back a day, creating a detailed ideal customer profile and develop marketing materials. So let's go back here. Let's grab this. Create me a new customer avatar. For our new target audience. Here is the old avatar we were using. Okay. Okay. New target market is state attorneys, wedding/event planners. Why do I keep drawing a blank on these? Business funding consultants and mortgage brokers. Okay, so now we're going to do that. All right, so now we got Sarah. Sarah's 38, female, JD from a reputable law school, certified estate planning specialist, professional background, 10 plus years experience as an estate attorney, boutique law firm. Her base is high net worth individuals, business owners, and families with complex estate planning needs, located in an urban area with strong presence of legal and financial services. Moderate tech savviness, open to adopting new technologies to enhance legal service business. Her goals are to expand client base, streamline estate planning process, and differentiate services through tech. Some of her key characteristics are here, and some of her pain points are here. So we're going to copy this down here, update this. If you're on a MacBook, the function button at the bottom left and then delete will do that. If you have a Windows, you can just do delete and that'll get you there. All right, so now we got a new person. Let's clean this up, make it a little bit cleaner. All right, cool. So now we can move this down just a little bit. There we go. All right, so now we got Sarah. Now we go back here. Okay, perfect. Can you create me a list of KPIs you think would be the most impactful, beneficial, and also be leading indicators as opposed to trailing indicators. So the reason we're doing this is because a trailing indicator is like revenue or how much money you've made. It's after the fact. Something has already happened, and you're kind of going back and saying, okay, well, this is how we did for this week, this month, this year, whatever. A leading indicator is the opposite. It's, hey, we're seeing this thing happening, which is going to project us, or we're believing that later down the line these things are going to happen and we're going to get these results. So uh, let's say that you're reaching out to 10 people, and that's the trailing indicator, right? Because we know that we have a 10% closing ratio. And if we do 10 outreaches, then we know we have a 10% closing ratio. We'll close one client, which is going to lead to $2,000 in revenue. So the revenue is the trailing indicator. How many outreaches and contacts we're doing is the trailing indicator, or the leading indicator. I don't know if I said that backwards, but um, yeah, so we want leading indicators so that way we can know what's to come. Also be leading indicators. Hmm. Let's do also a mix of leading indicators and trailing indicators. Ideally, we would like more leading indicators. Think about what would make for good KPIs for this specific business. Elaborate on that before providing your final bullet point list. So your results should be a table format. Column 1 is the KPI. Column 2 is letting me know it is a leading or trailing indicator. Keeper. All right, let's see what this pops out. Do. All right, so here's our list. Did not listen. Oh, it's because it's an assistant, so the assistant can't really do it like that. So we will do this. Copy. Go back here. Oops. Can you put this into a table format? We're going to come back up here. Let's grab this piece. Come back. Paste that. And now let's see what it does. All right, so it's almost all leading. So our average time to onboard a new client, client retention rate, number of new client acquisitions, percentage of automation solution uptime. I don't really care for this one because we're not managing that. That's done through Go High Level. Client satisfaction score, average response time to client inquiries. That's good. Revenue growth rate. Okay. Percentage of revenue from repeat clients. Okay. Cost per acquisition of new clients. System downtime hours. All right. So what I'm gonna do All right, take this. Can you provide 2 to 3 different KPIs to replace that? And this one. Those are managed by Go High Level. Client onboarding satisfaction score. This is just an overall client satisfaction. So I guess this would be more like as they're getting onboarded, and then this is as they're continuing the services. Okay, measure the satisfaction level of clients during the onboarding process, combine effectiveness and user friendliness of the onboarding experience. Okay, not bad. Automation utilization rate, track the percentage of available automation features that clients are actively using. This can indicate how well clients are adopting and benefiting. Um, are there any other ones that you would think would be better than 2 and 3? All right, client automation adoption rate. Track the percentage of clients who fully implement the automation solutions provided by maybe process improvement success rate. Measure the percentage of process improvement initiatives that result in tangible benefits such as time savings or cost reductions for clients. I like this one better because now it kind of so over the weekend or over the last week, so Thursday of last week, I had spoke to a potential client that a friend of mine introduced me to, and so he was kind of just letting me know that she's interested in the services, and she definitely wants to kind of move forward and stuff. So I was basically like asking a lot of upfront questions. And so what that kind of looked like was this. I was asking, how much is their customer lifetime value? How much is a customer worth to them? And, how much time is it that they are putting into getting one client, right? And so the reason those were important is because the customer value, let's say that a customer is valued at $100, but we're charging $2,000. Well, it's going to take, you know, a good amount of clients to equal our fee. So it doesn't make sense to do that. But if one of their clients is worth $2,000 or better, then that means that we're able to get them one extra client. Then it's worth it because now it's a wash. They didn't come out of pocket for anything, but they got an automated process, and they're on monthly payments and stuff like that. And so a customer lifetime value is how much is that customer worth over the entire lifetime that that person is going to be working with that client. So let's say that you work with somebody and their typical client only buys one service from them at $2,500 a month. Well, then that customer lifetime value is $2,500. But let's say that that same client ends up buying, an extra pack or an extra something, a service or whatever, and over the course of a year, they spend another $500. So now instead of $2,500 on the customer lifetime value, it's 3,000. So now let's do it one more time. Let's say that a customer ends up typically staying with this person for 2 years, and they do the $2,500 initial. They might get something upgraded at $500, and then they might do another upgrade a year from now at another $1,000, right? So that is what, $4,000 of their customer lifetime value. What we can then do is um, use that to quantify our services, right? And you're saying, okay, well, stick with a year. Customer lifetime value is a year. They typically stay with the client for a year, and they spend $2,500. And get my calculator out. So $2,500, and I was asking them, I was like, well, how long does it take you to secure one client? And I think they were talking about like 30 hours or something like that, 30, 35 hours. When you take into the time that it takes to do the discovery call, then the follow-up process, follow up again, texting, calling, showing them how to upload documentation, showing them answering their questions, frequently asked questions, making sure that everything is done right, double checking everything, like all the entire process to the point where that client actually signs on the line. It's like, all right, cool, here's my payment kind of thing. Let's say that's 30 hours, right? So $2,500, which is what their lifetime value is, divided by 30 hours. So that means that this client that we're trying to acquire is doing an hourly rate of $83 an hour. So now it's like, okay, well, how do we speed that process up, right? If we're at the point where we're asking them questions like, well, how long does it take you to get a client? And it's like, oh, 30 hours. Okay, cool. Of that, how much time are you actually, following up, sending text messages, sending, answering questions that it doesn't matter if it's Sarah, or Alex, or James, or whoever, they're asking relatively the same questions. You got to send out the same information. They're like, oh, well, probably about like 25 of those hours, 26, right? I'll just do a round number of 25. That's not round, but you get the point. So 25 hours. Okay, cool. So we can automate 80% of that 30 hours, or we can automate 25 hours of that. Is that 30 times 0.8? It's 24. So yeah, if we can automate just about 80%, 85% of your entire process, then what would you do with that time? So now what we're doing is trying to add numbers to it. And that's where we start getting the client automation adoption rate and a couple other things, as well as process improvement. Actually, not that one. Process improvement success rate. Why? Because we can say, hey, this is your baseline. This is your where you started at. You were doing, it would take you 35 hours a week, 35 hours for one client. It would then take you, X, Y, Z to then get them through this whole process. And, now instead of it taking on average, let's say 2.5 months for you to get that one client through the entire process over the course of 35 hours, we're now able to condense that down to 2 weeks. And you don't have, the only time that you have to really speak is on a call and making and doing all your work on the back end. So now you're down to doing things in a matter of 2 hours. So we're saving you that time. And granted, I said 80% of 30 hours is 24, but if we're able to get them down to 2 hours of just actually doing the work and following and like submitting things and crossing all their I's and or crossing all their T's and dotting all their I's, well, now we can come in and say, all right, cool. It was 30 hours that you would typically work to get this client, and now it only takes you 2 hours of work. So we're 28 times your hourly rate of $83, it's $2,300. So we're saving you $2,300 per client that you get, right? Now you can go out and get an extra client, because if it took you 30 hours and now it only takes you 2 hours, you can get that many more clients. And that would be the fee that we're charging, right? So $2,300 is what we're charging in this case. So, and again, I was just kind of telling her, and I had to follow up with her today, is that that's just one client. I'm charging you based on how much time I'm saving you per one client, but now you can go get more clients. So if you get more clients, that's a bonus for you. And so yeah, so our process improvement success rate. So now we have our list. Okay. Our total list KPI. Oh, here's our total list of KPIs that we want tracked. Take a look and provide your thoughts on how we quantify these as well as track them within a Google spreadsheet. Think about what a good spreadsheet setup would look like. Best way to track them. And elaborate and provide your final thoughts. Here's the list. So we're going to do a couple things before we do that. So we're going to grab this, that, oops. We're going to grab the rest of this list. Hopefully it copies right. We'll see. Yeah. Revenue growth rate trailer. Okay. So we're going to put these in parentheses. Oops. All right, so we are going to take this. We're going to go to our Explore GPTs, KPI builder. We're going to start this chat and that. Am I missing anything? Oh, wait. I need to take this list. Come back here. Okay, here's the final list. Can you, for each of them, can you provide timeframes we should be checking them? Why? Because in our SOPs, there are within my audit process. It basically says in there, you should be checking these things at these timeframes. If you don't have that just yet, that's fine. It'll still give you something, and you can just say, based on what you know so far, can you provide timeframes for these? So you check these monthly, quarterly, bi-monthly, annually, monthly, weekly. All right, so we're going to take this list right here. Something's off. System downtime should not be in there. And uptime. Can you try again? Let's go back and see what happened. Might have just messed that one up. So, all right. What is going on here? All right. Well, that list is gone. So we are going to take am I missing something? There we go. So we're going to take client adoption rate, leading indicator. We're going to take that. We're going to replace it with the uptime one because I don't need that. We're going to take this one and replace it with this. I'm going to copy these. Okay. Come back here. Try again with this list. Okay. All right, now we're going to take this list, copy that, go back in here, go over to our KPI GPT. Start that. Here is my list of KPIs. Can you give me thoughts? Good Lord. On how to properly set this up within Google spreadsheets. About what a good setup would look like. Elaborate that and provide your final thoughts. Now, this may be overkill, but I just want to double check that I'm doing things as efficient as possible. So the KPI spreadsheet is literally designed for KPIs. So there's instruction sets behind it that we can use. Start by organizing the spreadsheet into sections based on frequency. This will help you quickly navigate, provide a high-level summary of all KPIs. KPI name, current value, target value, status indicator. Green for on track, yellow for at risk, red for off track. Date last updated, notes. Okay. All right, so that's what we're going to do. We're going to go over to our Google spreadsheets. Let's create a new one. I'm going to name it Optimize KPI. Okay, and then we're just going to fill in what we need. So we're going to take this here, paste that there. Okay, and we'll get rid of all these. All right, never mind. Excel is the one that does that to allow you just to clear content. So we have our KPI name. So each of these columns All right. We got monthly KPIs. This sheet should pull data from the detailed sheets described below and provide visual cues like conditional formatting to quickly show the status of each KPI. Mm, so we have 4, 5, 6 sheets. Okay. It's going to be really, really detailed and organized, which is not a bad thing. So what we're going to do is monthly KPIs. We'll set that up. So we'll grab this. Move myself a little bit. Add a new spreadsheet. We'll call this one monthly. Add in those. Move them here. Okay. KPIs. Oh wait, I need to add a column. Okay, so we got that. So now we got bi-weekly. We're going to get these columns. Oops. And it might turn out that we can actually have all these things in one spreadsheet. So I might just do that. But for now, I'm just going to follow exactly what it's telling me to do. And we're going to insert another column. Just thinking about this now. So these, we can keep one row. Client adoption rate, one row. Percentage of revenue from repeat clients, one row. The client satisfaction score. So if we go in here, let me go back to this one. And we build out a survey. So that'd be sites, survey, builder. Let's do this one. Client satisfaction survey. All right. We'll probably have to create a questionnaire for that, and figure out how we can aggregate or pull out all those answers into one. Let me double check something as well. And if I don't figure it out now, I'll probably figure it out in the next one. But for today, we're just setting up the infrastructure to start gathering the KPIs. And then later down the line, we'll probably start like really deep diving into each one of them to make sure that everybody's talking to one another. All right. Well, that's taking a little while. Of course. All right. So now we're logged in. We can go to submissions. What would that look like? Like I said, I'll start piecing that together, but we might be able to just have that there. And as we start getting submissions for each of our different surveys, I think we may have to set up a different survey for each KPI. I'll double check that. Where was I? Yeah, so not for each KPI, but like some of these we'll be able to clearly see. Like number of new client acquisitions, we'll go back in here and we can go to dashboard, and that'll kind of show us for this time frame. Now, keep in mind these are just sample numbers. One day, this will actually show total revenue of $19,000, and then that I'll like literally remember this day, um, and be so happy. But for now, we will, yeah. So we can do like this month or whatever. What is this, bi-monthly? So that's every 2 weeks. So we would just go like the last, not last week, but we would just do like the last 2 weeks. So today's the 12th, so the 29th through the 12th, and then we would just confirm, and then we would have that. So we would then come in here to fill out this KPI. So we got bi-monthly. We'll grab this. Oops. Rename bi-monthly. Come down here, do that. Expand that out. Come back, grab the rest of these. I wonder that doesn't work. It's trying to be slick, but I guess not. No. We just grab this. We got quarterly, so we'll grab these two. Okay. And we got annual and biannual. Okay. All right, next one, conditional formatting can help you visualize trends and issues at a glance. For example, green when actual value meets or exceeds target value, yellow when actual value is close to but not meeting target value, red when actual value is significantly below our target value. Let's do this one. All right, okay, great. We're going to create, what did I say? How does this not load? Conditional formatting. So we are looking for conditional formatting for following spreadsheet. you give me example? Actually, each KPI, can you give me example target values? Then we're going to do this. Oops. Set it up as the following. Provide me. Let's see how this pulls out. So I'm gonna copy that just in case. Okay, that's not bad. Okay. So we have 10 KPIs. For each one, we have our target values. We have a conditional formatting, which is basically saying if the actual value is less than 14 days or less than or equal to 14 days, is good. If it is more than or less than 14 days, but I'm sorry. If it's greater than 14 days, but less than 20 days, that's yellow. And if it's greater than 20 days to onboard a client, that's not good. So what we're going to do is average time to onboard a new client. So we are going to have here format, conditional format cells if less than, what did we say, 14? We want to keep that green. And we're going to D4. Okay. So let's do 3. All right, cool. 5, that, and 14. So we need to adjust this rule less than or equal to 14. There we go. All right, cool. So now we know that works. We're going to add in another rule where we're going to do the same thing for D4. It's less than or equal. Oh, whoops. We can do this. Greater than or equal to 15. Oh, is between, there we go, 15 and 20, right? Where were we at? Here? Yeah, 15 and 20, or 19, 20, 20, 20, 20, 20, because the equals on. So 20, and then anything above 20 is red. So we're going to add yellow. So let's try 16. Oops. Okay. All right. I wanted to make sure it's not an ugly red or ugly yellow. So we're going to do cancel. Make sure that our conditional format applies to everybody. D2 through D4, D2. All right, cool. So we'll do D2 through D4 is greater than 20. We're going to turn that like a red kind of thing. All right, so what we'll do is we'll do that for the rest of the KPIs. I just realized that it's the actual value. So we have to do E. There we go. So the actual value, so the target value is less than 14. Trash that one. Format, conditional format, trash. Okay. It's then equal to 14. Greater than 14. Is that right? 14, but less than 15. Uh-oh. Target value, we'll just keep it at 14. What I need to then change is these, because I just realized that this should only be E2. This should also only be E2. And this should be E2. All right, now we got that. Client automation adoption rate. Here we go. 80% is our target value. 80%. So the actual value, conditional format, keep it at E3, is less than or equal to 80%. I hope that works. We're going to format this number. We're going to make it a percentage. So let's say 40%. All right, cool. So that works. We're going to add another one. Is between 75 and 79. Make that yellow. Now let's try that out. 78%. Something's not right. Oh, greater than. Sorry. It's greater than or equal to. Okay. Here we go. And one more, which is less than. What do we have? 70? 75. So anything less than 74%. It's weird. Let's go back here. We're going to go back 2%. Let's figure out these rules. Where the hell is a list of all of them? So Command A or Control A, and then go to Format, Conditional Format, and that'll show you all the rules. So we are on E3. So we need to change this to less than or equal to 74%. Change that to the red. All right, now that works. Cool. So now looking at it, I'm trying to think because there's going to be several different dates because this is monthly. So I'm trying to think how we would set this up. Drop a comment down below if you know or have an idea how you would set this up to have it by the different months. And drop a like if this is helpful at all as well. But yeah. Well, like I said, we'll figure this out. It's easier to once everything's in there, then we can come back and figure that out. But for now, we just keep it as is. Wait, who's next? Percentage of revenue from repeat clients. Here we go. So 50% is the target value. So anything greater than 50% is good. So 50%, we're going to change this to make sure it's formatted to be a number. Percent, we're going to add a rule, is greater than or equal to 50%. Keep that green. Add another rule, is less than or is between 45 to 49. 45% and 49%. Want to make that yellow. We're going to add another rule, is less than 44%. Oh, whoops. Less than or equal to 44%. We change that to the red. Okay. Oops. 44%, 46%, 52%. All right, so that's working good. All right, bi-weekly client satisfaction score. So target value is 4.5 out of 5. So anything greater than 4.5. So 4.5 is our target value. Actual value, create a rule, is greater than or equal to 4.5. Is between 4.3 and 4.4. Change that to yellow. And anything less than or equal to 4.2. We're going to turn that to red. All right, by monthly, number of new client acquisitions. 10 per month. Good Lord, that's a lot. I mean, hey, if that's the number to aim for, that's the number to aim for. 10 a month. I think that's a little high, based on the fact of what we can actually handle. So this one, I'm going to keep it at, let's say 4. So our target value is 4. Because any more than that'd be a lot, starting out. To build out the entire process for even just 4 is a good handful. So what we're going to do is greater than or equal to 4. Keep that green. We're going to go to is between 2 and 3. Change that to yellow. And anything less than or equal to, actually, I would just keep it at 2. Yeah. Anything at 2 or less, then is like kind of slowing down there. So let's do that. Even though 2 is still a great month because that's That's $4,000 in revenue that we're able to get if we're not doing any discounts. So I still wouldn't be mad at that. So quarterly client retention rate, 90%. Anything greater than or equal to 90%. So 90. Actual value is greater than or equal to 90%. Keep that green. It's between we're at 85 and 89. Yellow. And then it is less than or equal to 84%. We'll turn that red. Format number percent 83, 85, 91. All right, cool. So those work. Process improvement success rate, 80%, greater than or equal to 80%. 80%. Is greater than or equal to 80%. Is between 75 and 79. Turn this yellow. And less than or equal to, what did I say, 85 or 75? So 74%. Turn that red. Oops. Format number percent. 7, 3. All right, cool. That works. Two more. Revenue growth rate, annual. Revenue growth rate, there we go. 15% annually. So 15%. Format number percent. Greater than or equal to 15%. It's between 12 and 14. Less than or equal to red 12% to 11%. Oops. Could have formatted this percent. All right, so that works. Just want to make sure the format stays there. Cost per acquisition of new client, $500 is our target value. That's a good amount right there. We're going to format that to a number, and we're going to do currency rounded. So now we're going to do format equal to, wait, actually we want less than or equal to, right? Yeah, less than equal to $500. Want is between 501 and I think it's 600. 600. Turn that yellow. And And then we're going to do is greater than or equal to $601. We're going to turn that red. All right. All right, cool. All right. So we have that. Let's go back here. So use formulas for automation. Automate calculations whenever possible. Reduce manual entry errors. Use formulas like B2 minus C2, where B2 is the actual value. So the variance is the difference to calculate variances automatically. So difference between target and actual. So equals E2 minus D2. And we just drag this down. Guess not. All right, so as we start filling these in, they'll start populating. Equals that. Okay. Equals that. Equals that. Drag this down. Equals. All right. Equals this minus that. And then we'll fill this in. All right. Consider creating a separate sheet or Google Sheet, Google Data Studio to develop visual dashboards that pull data from your spreadsheet. This can make it easier. We'll come back and do this one next video. Set up regular reminders. Google Sheets allows you to integrate with Google Calendar or set up email notifications. That's good. You can automate reminders for when it's time to set up each time to update each KPI. So we'll do these two. Okay. If your team is involved in KPI tracking, ensure the sheet is shared with relevant stakeholders. I don't have a team right now. You can control permissions, final thoughts, consistency. The key to effective KPI is consistency. Make sure they're up to date, review and adjust, regularly review them. And so what we'll do is also set up a GPT assistant to read out our KPIs. So I'll see like how we can parse that information out, and then ideally what I want happening is that the GPT, the KPI GPT looks at the KPI spreadsheet. Is like, all right, here's our KPIs for this time frame, and then it shares that with our knowledge based GPT and is like, hey, here's what we have currently going on. And then the knowledge based GPT is like, all right, well, here's what we need to do to adjust to hit our numbers or bring our numbers to where we need to be for the next time that we do them. So that's honestly what I would like to do. And with that, once we get that set up, that is something that we can start providing to clients. Like, hey, not only can we provide you KPIs here within your dashboard, right? But we can start. But these are trailing indicators, right? Your opportunity status, your opportunity value, conversion rates. These are all trailing indicators. Everything here is trailing indicators. We're building out leading indicators as well, so they get a full spectrum of exactly how their business is currently doing and will do, so that everything starts making sense. So if this video was helpful for you, go ahead and drop a like down below, a comment as well, so that way I know this is actually helpful, and then I will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.